Highlander's back here. Hey, what's going on? This is Thanh, back with another video unboxing and review for you. Today I'll try to make it short and sweet. I am doing a review for an LED touch light for the rear lift gates right here. So I want to thank these sponsors at CarTrimHome for sending me out the package, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at what's inside here. I know that if you look on AliExpress, there's two versions of these rear liftgate LED lights. There's one that has the 6 lights in it, and then there's this one that I got from CarTrimHome. So in the box, here's what you get. You'll get 2 LED sets, the wiring harnesses. From what I can tell, it's all plug and play, no splicing, no having to tap into any wires. It's just plug and play with this wiring harness right here. And let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so here is everything that you get inside of the box. You'll get 2 LED light sets, one for the left side and one for the right. And you can tell with the close-up, this is the difference between the CarTrimHome product and the alternative that many of you may have seen on AliExpress, where it has 6 circular lights right here. This has a touch button right in the middle to turn it on and off, and we'll see what it defaults as when we hook this up here. So you get 2 of those, then you'll get these 2 harnesses right here. Looks like, again, plug and play. Probably plugs into the ECU box somewhere on the back of the rear liftgate, but we'll take off the panel and we'll take a look here in detail. So let's take a look. If you look here on the back, it's pretty straightforward. You have your simple cables right here. This is marked right here so you know which side is which. LH for left hand side. I'm sure this one says RH for right hand side. So you can tell already how we're going to remove this off, right? So if you can see, these clamps hook into the body of the car. So we're not going to pry it open from the bottom. If you look at the top, this is just straight. So we're going to use this indentation right here. See a little indentation right here? It's the same indentation that you'll see, if I get it to zoom in, right here on the OEM cover. So just use a flathead, and then you'll just plug it in here, pull it out, and then once you plop it out like this, then you just push it forward like that. That's all. Pretty simple. I like this personally. It looks more stylish, if you know what I mean, with all of the different LED diodes in there. But we'll test the brightness once I'm able to wait until nightfall and see how much brighter this is. All right, let's go ahead with the install. All right, so something I did notice about the wiring harness, and it's not a deal breaker. I'll let my friends at CarTrim know about this and see if they can get it corrected at the factory. But again, it's not a deal breaker. Everything with the 2 harnesses are plug and play. However, you'll notice that on this set right here that plugs into the LED kit, it has the exposed positive and ground cable, and this piece that is separately. Now, of course, if you know how to get this installed, this just goes right into here like this, and just plug this cap up to get it to be firmly seated into this mounting piece right here. This mounting piece ultimately goes into this piece right here. This is the one that installs into the actual 2 LED wires. So it goes in like this. Oops, sorry, it goes in like this, and it clicks in like this. So again, it's not a deal breaker, but I don't know why this part wasn't you know, installed or already pre-installed. But this is something you can just do if you're curious which red and black wire goes into which port. All you have to do is just follow this color pattern right here. So you see this color pattern, it's red and black. So when you're matching up the other part of it, and it goes in like this, if it goes in like this, then you'll know that you'll want to install it in red and black so it corresponds, instead of doing it backwards like this, if that makes sense. So again, it's not a deal breaker, but I'll send my feedback to see if this can already come pre-assembled, so that way this is already included into here, so that way we don't have to worry about this additional step. All right, let's continue with the install. All right, so before we begin, these are the only two tools that I'm starting off with. Pry tool and this jeweler's flathead right here, just so I can make sure I don't scratch this when I'm bending it out to remove this panel right here. So once you pluck this side out, then you lift it up like that. See the difference there? So if you compare the OEM to the aftermarket, you can see it's almost identical where the brackets are, right? So that's what it looks like. I'm going to take this one off next. Oh, that's my brother-in-law. Just to stop by to say hi. Alright, so now we got this bolt removed. We're just going to give it a tug right here. All right, so let's get working on the wiring harnesses. Out of the two, we're going to start with this set right here first, since this directly plugs right into the liftgate itself. This end right here, I'll show you where this goes, and this goes into the ECU unit, and this end right here goes into the power supply for the lock actuator. So just taking a look right up here, here's the ECU. Let me zoom out so you know where it is. On this corner of the liftgate on the driver's side, it's this thing right here that we're gonna use the piggyback cable for. And then the lock actuator is this gray component right here that we'll go ahead and unplug and stick the other piggyback in as well. All right, here's a better shot of the panel removed on the back right here, and you can see all the various red grommets where it was held in place. So it's all pressured, you know, just pop it out, nothing to twist. You just gotta take a little pressure and just pull gently, and it should all just pop right out. So next thing to do is just install these LED lights onto the back. I found that it's probably a good idea to install these first onto the panel before we hook up the wiring and then put it back onto the liftgate. That way we can see and make sure that this wire is hanging out, so that way it's not hidden underneath behind here. So let's go ahead and stick this in real quick. Pop that on. So first you hook it in the bottom. Here we go. Hook it in the bottom, just like that, and then it should pop right up on the top right there. There we go. So it should just click, click, and click. There we go. So it is installed. Make sure this wire's hanging out and it's not accidentally hidden underneath. And I've already and then this side right here. All right, next step is to take a look at the wiring. Then the lock actuator. Looks like I'm gonna have to find a couple zip ties and zip it up right over here as well. So let's go ahead and get this. There's a fuse here, just so you know. So this little capsule right here has a little fuse in there as well. So that's a good thing. Clips this. Get that in there as well. And then this white port right here, this basically clips into the two LEDs right here. So this one goes to the left, this one goes to the right, this one clicks right here, and that's how these should light up. So far it's all plug and play. You can tell it lit up already. By default, since the liftgate is open, that's probably why it's on. Alright, yeah, that turned on as well. Let me actually just take my hand and touch that touch button to see if it turns off here. Yep, it turns off. Touch the other side. It turns off. So before I put this panel back on, this is what the wiring looks like. All plug and play. There to there. And the back of the ECU. And let me go ahead and apply a couple of zip ties so this looks more clean, and we'll go ahead and put the panel back on here. All right, so just showing you a close-up. I ended up only using 2 zip ties, but I did use some electrical tape to secure the red wire here. So you can see the zip tie right here, so I can make sure this harness is close to this as possible, so there's clearance for that bracket when I put the cover back on. And then the second zip tie is right here, so this way this is secured and tight and not flopping around the lock actuator. And then you can see here and here I put electrical tape, so that way that doesn't flap around while I'm driving around as well. So that's what it looks like. You can see this is already hooked up right now, so all I gotta do is put the panel back onto the car and we're good to go. All right, and as I lift this cover panel and put it back to the liftgate, one thing I'll attempt to do that might be off camera, but I want to explain this process, is these 2 wires right here. As I'm lifting this up, I'm going to try to tuck it underneath here as much as possible, so that way at least it's behind here as I put this back up. there it is. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, so here's how they look in the daytime. Touch, touch, off. We'll see if they automatically turn on and off when I open and close the liftgate. Moment of truth here is I have yet to close the liftgate after installing these LED lights in the back here. So I know some individuals mentioned that their lift gates were not able to close. They had to reset the car to get it to close again. So let's see if it closes on the first try. And the answer is no. You notice there it closed down super slow and it did not close all the way. I have a feeling it's because when I was pushing the panel back up on, that it was readjusting the liftgate clearance. So let's see if we can fix that. Alright, so resetting the rear liftgate was actually pretty easy. All I did was manually close the liftgate all the way and just had it locked and just reopened it, and then it recalibrated itself. So now when you do open it, here's what it looks like. So it opens up at its normal speed and it opens up at the height that I've set it for, and you can see right here. I really like the way this looks compared to the other version because it's so shiny and glossy, but you know, to each their own. The other version you might see on AliExpress has the 6 circular white holes right here, which, you know, do a great job of lighting as well. But of course, you know, you got different preferences right here. So I've set this to be off. So when I open and close the rear liftgate, this will always remain off, and then just turn it on and off manually. It's really touchscreen. You don't even have to touch the actual plastic. Let me see, I'll show you. And it'll just sense your thumb here. See that? I didn't even touch it. Let me show you here. Woo! Look at that. That was pretty cool. So with them lit up, that's how they would look like in the daytime. Pretty sweet. And I can see already that based on the angle of the liftgate, I didn't have mine go all the way up, but I can see how the light angle can shine more into the rear trunk. But we'll see what it looks like at night, if you know, how far it goes back right here. But this is what it looks like. I'm really digging it. Liking the effects right here. It's so easy to turn on and off. So let's go ahead and test this out and set it on mode. And by setting it on mode, it should automatically turn off once the liftgate closes, and then it'll turn back on every time you turn this on. So we'll go and push the button. We'll see it here. So we'll see if we can shoot into the. There we go. We saw it turn off. And then now we're going to push the button to have it open, and it should turn on. Look at that. Turns on. So these are the 2 modes that you can have it set on. I'll probably just leave it on automatic mode like this, so it's convenient just in case my wife ever needs to use my car and she has issues trying to reach this height. Then she wouldn't have to reach up too high. All right, so let's go ahead and see how these look like at night. In 3, 2, 1. All right, and here's how the LED lights look at night. Pretty bright if you ask me. Now obviously all of the interior cabin lights are on, and I did replace them all with LED, but I'll turn those off in a second to kind of give you an idea what they look like. But look at that, my goodness, it extends a good 3-4 feet past the rear bumper, which is exactly what I wanted. And there's definitely great illumination into the trunk space as well. My family next month, we're going on a camping trip, and I bought one of those rear canopy tents that hook up to the rear liftgate, so that way you can create like a tent behind the car, like its own bubble. So these LED lights would be perfect for those who are looking to use a restroom when we're inside that tent. And also I might set up some inflatable beds in the back there for my kids when we do go camping. So all in all, I really like it. It really looks great. So look at that. Look how bright that is. Some of the light spills out to the outside, which is, the way I think of it, it's pretty good as well. The more light that can bleed out past the cabin area, the better, in my opinion, just for better visibility, especially say if you're in the parking lot, you're trying to load, unload, or at home, you're trying to load, unload, and you want to make sure that people can see you, especially if you're carrying groceries in and out of the trunk. I really like it here. But let me go ahead and turn off the cabin lights and show you what they look like with the LEDs on, but the cabin lights off. All right, so the LED interior cabin lights are all off, and look at that. It's still pretty bright. You got the illumination right here on the ground level, which is what you want, and it covers all the way into the trunk right here. And you can see it starts to dim away the further you get into that third row, but these lights aren't meant to be casted into the third row. Let me back up to show you what that looks like here again with the interior cabin lights off. And just for kicks, I'll pull this third row up just to give you an idea. Look at that. That's perfect. So anything you're storing in the back, you can clearly see it, right? Totally visible. And that's perfect. So let's just give it a quick touch just to see what the brightness looks like if I turned off one of them. Still pretty bright. Obviously, if I turned off both, then it would just be complete darkness. And let's go ahead and test these again by doing the close test. And these should automatically turn off once it fully closes. Yep. And then if I turn them back on, sorry, if I open it back up, we have light. Loving it. Well, I don't know about y'all, but this is definitely 2 thumbs up for Thanh. I highly recommend anyone looking to get some additional lighting in the back. This would be a great product to consider. I'll put the product link with my referral link in the chat. I'm sorry, not the chat, but in the video description if you want to support my channel. And I'll also put in a discount code so you can get 7% off this product if you buy it through CarTrimHome as well. Anywho, if you like this video, consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribe if this is your first time watching my videos. I got a few more Highlander videos coming out in the coming weeks, so I really appreciate your support. Until the next time, peace.